Derek was 27, living in a modest one-bedroom apartment just outside the city. It wasn't fancy, but it was paid for with long hours at his job in IT, the kind of work that wasn't glamorous but kept the lights on and his credit score climbing. He liked his routines, brewing coffee at 6:30 sharp, catching the bus with earbuds in, and climbing the evenings to clear his mind. Life felt steady. Until Madison. Madison was 25 and had a different kind of dream. She wasn't interested in the 9-to-5 grind. Instead, she wanted to build her brand. Fashion hauls, lifestyle tips, and short reels about empowered living. Her Instagram grid was a collection of curated smiles, latte art, and captions about independence, though independence wasn't really the right word. For the last year, Derek had been quietly covering the bills that her influencer journey couldn't. It had started small, her phone bill, a gym membership. But over time, the list grew. Her car insurance, 2 credit cards where she was an authorized user, even Spotify and streaming accounts. Derek was paying about $1,800 a month for her life. He told himself it was temporary, an investment in her future. She told him it meant he believed in her. Still, cracks showed through the polished facade. Derek noticed the way Madison scrolled through her feed late at night, comparing herself to bigger influencers, sighing when her follower count didn't climb. He noticed the way she brushed off his long work days, calling them distractions from her goals. He noticed Jake. Jake was Madison's best friend from college, a 26-year-old with messy hair, an easy laugh, and a habit of commenting flame emojis on every picture she posted. Derek had never liked him. The text between them came early in the morning, before Derek had even left bed. Madison always said, "Don't be weird, he's just a friend." But friends didn't send hard eyes and late-night memes that bordered on flirty. 3 weeks before everything imploded, Derek got the text. He was at work when his phone buzzed. "Hey, babe. So Jake's roommate moved out, and he offered me the spare room for like super cheap. I think I need this iron. Time to focus on myself and my content without distractions. Don't contact me for a month, okay? We're still together, obviously. Just need space. Love you." The words blurred in front of Derek's eyes. His stomach dropped. His hands went cold. Madison was moving in with another man. But they were still together? He was a distraction? He sat in silence for 5 minutes, staring at the text. Then, without anger or begging, he typed 2 words. Got it. But inside, a decision was already forming. He had been a sponsor, not a partner. And if Madison wanted space, then space was exactly what she would get. That evening, Derek went to work, not at his IT job, but on his accounts. One by one, he cut the financial lifelines. He logged into his credit card apps, canceling the 2 cards where Madison was an authorized user. He removed her from his phone plan. He pulled her off his car insurance. Gym membership, gone. Spotify, Netflix, Prime Video, all reset with new passwords. Her entire lifestyle, the one he'd been subsidizing, vanished in less than an hour. It was clean, quiet, almost surgical. And when it was done, he blocked her number. She had asked for a month of no contact. Derek intended to give her exactly that. What he didn't realize then was how quickly her world and his was about to unravel. The first 72 hours were eerily quiet. Derek half expected Madison to explode instantly, to storm into his apartment demanding explanations. But instead, there was only silence. He went about his life, morning bus rides, climbing sessions, quiet evenings with a book. For the first time in a long time, he wasn't juggling someone else's bills on top of his own. Then the call started. Unknown numbers flashed across his phone screen. Derek ignored them, but the voicemails piled up, each one more desperate than the last. The first came from Madison's best friend, Brittany, her voice sharp with judgment. "Oh my God, Derek, what did you do? Madison's cards aren't working, and she's freaking out. This is so petty. Call her back right now." Derek listened once, then deleted it. The second voicemail was softer, almost pleading. Madison's mom, Deb. "Hi, sweetie, it's Deb. There seems to be some kind of mix-up with Madison's cards. She said there must be a technical issue. Could you please sort it out? She's very upset." A technical issue. Derek almost laughed. Then, Came the one he'd been waiting for. Madison herself, from Jake's phone. Her voice was sharp, high-pitched with embarrassment. "What the hell, Derek? My card just got declined at Target in front of everyone. How could you do this to me? This is financial abuse. Fix this right now." Financial abuse. Derek replayed the phrase in his head, bitterly amused. For a year, he had been the one carrying her expenses while she curated her image as an independent boss babe. And now, not paying for her life was abuse? By that evening, the tone of the voicemail shifted. Madison again, this time crying, "Derek, please. My car insurance lapsed and I got pulled over. The cop gave me a ticket. It's $450. I don't have the money. And Jake saw my car get declined at Walmart when I was trying to buy groceries. I had to pretend I grabbed the wrong card. Please, just turn them back on. I'll pay you back, I promise. This is humiliating." Humiliation. That was the first honest word she'd spoken. Derek didn't respond. Madison had asked for space, and he was honoring that request in full. But humiliation has a way of curdling into rage, and Derek sensed the storm building. It wasn't just about bills anymore. This was about image, control, the delicate persona Madison had built online and in her social circle. Without the safety net of Derek's support, the polished picture was cracking, and cracks never stayed hidden for long. When the knock came 2 weeks later, Derek wasn't surprised. What surprised him was that Madison hadn't come alone. She brought Jake. The knock at Derek's door echoed through his apartment like a warning. He set down his mug of coffee, walked to the door, and opened it. There she was, Madison, but not the Madison of Instagram, not the polished girl in designer dresses with perfectly blended foundation and a ring-light glow. This Madison looked raw. Her hair was pulled into a messy bun. Her hoodie hung loose, and her eyes were puffy from crying. Beside her stood Jake, shifting uneasily from one foot to the other, staring down at his sneakers, as if he'd rather be anywhere else. Madison crossed her arms the moment the door opened. "We need to talk." Derek leaned against the frame, calm, almost attached. "You asked for a month of no contact. It's been 2 weeks. Her voice rose. "Cut the crap, Derek. You know what you did. You destroyed my credit." Derek blinked slowly. "Your credit?" "Madison, those were my credit cards. My name. I was paying them. You don't even have credit in your name." Jake finally piped up, his tone hesitant, caught between loyalty and doubt. "Bro, that's kind of messed up, though. She was counting on those cards." Derek turned to him, his expression flat. "Are you seriously standing here right now? She moved in with you, but I'm supposed to keep paying her bills." Jake swallowed. "It's not like that, man. We're just friends." Madison snapped. "Jake, shut up." Then to Derek, "I need those cards back. I have a brand deal meeting tomorrow. I need to look presentable. I can't even get my nails done." Derek let the silence hang for a beat, his eyes steady on hers. "Sound like a you problem." Her voice cracked, trembling with rage. "I'll sue you. You financially control me, and now you're punishing me." Derek almost laughed. "Sue me? For what? Not giving you free money anymore? Please do it. I've got 2 years of credit card statements showing thousands at Sephora, Fashion Nova, Starbucks, while you posted about being independent. Good luck." Jake shifted again, frowning now. "Wait, you told me he was controlling, abusive even." Derek's eyes snapped to Jake. "Abusive? I paid her bills while she played influencer. Controlling? She moved in with you, Jake. Does that sound like I was controlling her?" Jake's confusion was written all over his face. He glanced at Madison, who avoided his gaze. The pieces were starting to fall into place. Madison's cheeks burned red. "You're ruining my life, Derek. My follower count is dropping because I can't afford to keep up my content. My car registration's expired. I can't even buy groceries." Derek tilted his head. "What? Jake's not helping with groceries. Weird. Thought you two were roomies." Jake hesitated, then muttered under his breath, "I mean, I covered your part of rent, but—" Madison snapped at him. "Not now, Jake." The room froze for a moment. thick with tension. Jake's shoulders slumped as realization dawned. Derek could see it. The sinking recognition that he wasn't her savior, just her next target. Derek straightened, his tone final. Look, you wanted space. You wanted to focus on yourself without distractions. I'm giving you exactly what you asked for. Now please leave. Madison's eyes filled with tears. You don't understand. I have responsibilities. Minimum payments alone are $400. I can't do this. Derek's answer was ice cold. Then get a job. Her jaw dropped. Content creation is my job. He shook his head. 3,000 followers don't pay bills. I did, and now I don't. Goodbye. He began closing the door. Madison's voice rose into a shriek. I'll post about this. I'll tell everyone what kind of person you are. Derek smiled thinly. Please do. Just make sure you include the part where you moved in with another man while demanding I pay for everything. That'll really get the sympathy likes. And with that, the door clicked shut. For the first time in their relationship, Derek held the power, and Madison knew it. The door shut on Madison's outburst, but Derek knew that wasn't the end. Madison wasn't the type to accept silence. She thrived on attention, drama, the narrative. She needed control, and when control slipped from her fingers, she tried to seize it through spectacle. It started online. 2 days after the confrontation, Madison posted a shaky TikTok from Jake's apartment. She sat in front of a poorly lit vanity, voice trembling, mascara smudged just enough to look raw but not ruin the effect. The caption read, "Financial abuse is real. Protect yourself, ladies." She spoke to the camera, telling her version of events. How Derek had cut her off suddenly, how he had controlled her money, how she was now trying to rebuild after escaping an unhealthy relationship. Her tone was practiced vulnerability, the kind that often went viral. But this time, the audience didn't bite. 500 views. That was it. And the comments weren't the sympathy she expected. They were knives. Wait, so your ex was paying all your bills while you lived with another man? Girl, what? Independent boss babe? More like dependent sugar baby. This is embarrassing. Delete this. By the end of the day, the video was gone, wiped from her page. But humiliation only fueled her desperation. When the narrative collapsed online, she turned inward to Jake. Jake messaged Derek late one night on Instagram. The tone was unsteady, frustrated, almost pleading. Bro, we need to talk. Madison's been lying to me. She said she could cover half the rent, but she's broke. She's eating all my food, using my stuff, and she owes me $900 already. Can you just take her back? Derek read the message twice before replying. That sounds like a you problem now. But Jake wouldn't stop. His DMs poured in fragments of regret and frustration. She won't leave. She says she has nowhere to go. She tried to seduce me to get me to pay her bills. When I said no, she called me gay. Man, I thought she was just escaping a toxic relationship. Turns out she was using us both. Derek felt a strange mixture of satisfaction and pity. Jake had stepped into his shoes, only to realize they were shackles. But the real twist came from an unexpected source, Madison's mother, Deb. One afternoon, Derek's phone buzzed with her number. He considered ignoring it, but something told him to answer. Her voice was tired, worn down but sincere. Derek, honey, I just want to say I'm sorry. I had no idea you were paying all of her bills. She told us she was making good money with her online thing. But I went through some of her stuff. She was bringing in maybe $200 a month. The rest was you. There was a pause, filled only with Deb's sigh. The credit cards, she maxed them out, didn't she? $12,000. Derek said flatly. Deb groaned. $12,000 on what? He almost laughed. Clothes, makeup, restaurants. Check her Instagram. Every outfit, every latte, every fake business lunch. All of it came from my credit. Silence stretched on a line before Deb spoke again. Firmer now. That's it. I'm cutting her off too. She can either come home and get a real job or figure out herself. I'm done enabling this. Derek felt a surprising warmth at that moment. Validation. For so long, Madison had painted him as controlling, selfish. Now, even her own mother saw the truth. But Madison wasn't finished. She began showing up, first at Derek's apartment, pounding on the door until neighbors peeked through their blinds. Then at his workplace, where she screamed in the lobby, tears streaking down her cheeks as she shouted about abandonment and homelessness. Security had to escort her out while Derek's co-workers watched from the windows. Later that evening, his phone held 63 missed calls. The voicemails grew darker, spiraling from begging to threats to unhinged rambling. "You ruined my life, Derek. Jake wants me out by Friday. My credit score is destroyed. I can't rent anywhere. This is your fault. You're a narcissist. I'll tell everyone the truth about you." She even called his mother. Derek's mom phoned him later, laughing. "Your ex just called me crying about credit cards. I told her to get a job at McDonald's. They're always hiring." She called me a bitter old witch and hung up. Derek chuckled. "Sorry, Mom." "Don't be," she said. That was the most entertainment I've had all week. The final cracks came when Jake finally reached his breaking point. He gave Madison an ultimatum. Leave by Sunday or her things would be on the curb. She sent Derek pictures of the note, captioned with fury. "See what you did." His response was short. "You did this to yourself." Her reply was desperate. "I'm going to be homeless. My mom wants me to work at her friend's dental office as a receptionist. Do you know how humiliating that is?" Derek's words cut sharp as a blade. More or less humiliating than getting your card declined at Walmart. There was silence on her end, followed by one last text. "I hate you." Derek exhaled, set his phone down, and whispered to himself, "Okay, we're done here." But the story wasn't over. Because Madison's financial house of cards, built on credit shuffling and Derek's support, was about to collapse completely. And this time, the consequences wouldn't just be humiliating. They would be criminal. By the time Sunday rolled around, Jake had had enough. True to his word, he handed Madison a final ultimatum. Move out or he would pile her belongings on the curb. The text Derek received later that evening showed Madison's rage. Photos of the note taped to Jake's fridge, covered in her furious captions. "This is your fault. You destroyed everything." But Derek knew better. She had destroyed herself. Still, her spiral wasn't just personal anymore. It had turned legal. The 2 credit cards she'd been cycling payments between finally tripped fraud alerts. Derek got the call from the bank. Suspicious activity, possible credit fraud. Madison had been paying one card with the other, a house of cards built on deception. "Mr. Collins," the representative said on the phone, "this qualifies as fraudulent use. We'll be opening an investigation." Derek had receipts, screenshots, statements, every late night Sephora binge and Fashion Nova splurge. He'd been documenting for months, quietly, just in case. Now that foresight paid off. Madison wasn't just humiliated. She was exposed. Meanwhile, her influencer career, the dream she'd sold to Derek, her friends, even her own mother, was collapsing in real time. Her last attempt at content was a Get Ready With Me video filmed in Jake's dingy bathroom. Derek watched it out of morbid curiosity. The same Forever 21 dress she'd worn 3 times, her robe clung awkwardly. Her makeup looked rushed, and halfway through, Jake's voice bellowed from behind the door. "I need to shower for work. Real work." The comments were merciless. "Girl, this is sad." Not the influencer stuck in her roommate's bathroom scolded, "Is she homeless?" Within hours, her account vanished. 3,000 followers gone. Years of posing, captioning, chasing validation, erased with a click. Jake reached out to Derek one last time, his messages tinged with exhaustion rather than blame. "She's gone." Finally, her mom came with a U-Haul, dragged her out screaming about betrayal. "I'm done. Lesson learned. Sorry for everything, man. She told me you were abusive. I thought I was helping her escape. Turns out I was the escape route." Derek responded with honesty. "You thought you were getting laid." Jake's reply came quick. "Yeah, that too." At least he was honest now. Deb texted soon after. Madison was home, working as a receptionist at her friend's dental office. A steady 9 to 5. Scrubs instead of designer dresses, a paycheck instead of promises. She's claiming you two are just on a break, Deb wrote. But I told her she's delusional. She also added, almost proudly, I'm charging her rent. Market rate. She cried for 3 hours. For Derek, the closure came quietly. 2 months after Madison had moved in with Jake, his own life felt lighter. The $1,800 he once poured into her lifestyle now went toward aggressively paying down his debt. His credit score climbed 40 points. The weight of financial strain, once invisible but suffocating, lifted with every cleared balance. And there was Olivia, the engineer from his rock climbing gym. Practical, grounded, the kind of woman who paid her own bills and laughed at Madison's absurd purchases. One night, they sat together going through old credit card statements, treating them like an archaeological dig of Derek's past mistakes. For $100 Sephora hauls labeled as investments, $200 business lunches at clubs, $150 brunches called networking events. Olivia laughed until tears rolled down her cheeks. Bro, you weren't her boyfriend. You were her sponsor. Derek chuckled. Yeah, tuition paid in full to University of Don't Be a Sucker. When Madison tried one last time, new number, a long text about growth and forgiveness, Derek's response was simple, Who is this? She pleaded. He blocked her. The cycle was over. The fallout rippled through their friend group. Some sided with Madison, parroting her cries of financial abuse. Others saw the receipts and cut ties with her. Derek didn't care. He wasn't interested in quantity anymore, only quality. And Madison? Her grand comeback attempt fizzled into comedy. A new account titled Debt-Free Journey popped up where she posed as a financial advice guru. 12 followers. 3 comments, all from her mom's friends. Focus on work, sweetie. Derek scrolled once, smirked, and closed the app. He had his own life to live now. A healthier life, built on boundaries, respect, and balance. He was planning a weekend trip with Olivia, splitting the costs like adults. And for the first time in years, he felt something Madison had never been able to give him. Peace. Madison had asked for space. In the end, she got exactly that. And in that space, Derek found himself again.